Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, we talk about all things fandom, and this is Throwback Thursday, so we'll be talking about a movie today that's within a fandom, and then we will be giving you a throwback movie that you can watch that we recommend. And the movie news we're going to talk about today is Scream 6, and our throwback movie is Sleepaway Camp. So let's jump right into it. Something that's been gaining a little bit of traction is Heather Matarazzo, who played Martha Meeks, has said that she is potentially returning in an interview. Now, this happened about a week ago, but we're hearing more and more that this could be true, so I wanted to address these rumors and kind of give my 2 cents. So the reason that she's saying this is that she knows that her character isn't in 6, but potentially could be in 7. She's saying basically in this interview that it would be cool for herself to come back, but then throughout the interview she kind of gives this little sort of vibe like maybe she will be back. And the interview is available, you can check it out. But essentially, she kind of changes what she's saying and doesn't really want to give a whole lot out. She doesn't give a whole lot of information in the interview, so a lot of people are speculating that this means she will return. Now, I am not against a return by her character at all. I mean, Martha was fun to watch, and the fact that 2 of the kids in the movie are hers, it's very plausible we see her come back, especially when you're considering the fact that we may meet the girl who birthed Billy Loomis's daughter in this movie. That's something that they do have to address. I feel like if they throw that out the window, then things become a lot less intelligible during the movie. Intelligible, is that a word? That should indeed be a word. So, basically, I'm saying I find it odd that she would say about not being in this movie but potentially being in the next. So maybe we don't actually find out anything about Billy Loomis's baby mama until that movie as well. But if we do, it's going to be super cool. If we find out about her during this movie and maybe that, kind of sets up return for Martha, to come back. And then, of course, Neve Campbell as Sydney is in talks to come back for 7 as well. Because the whole idea is that this is Sydney's universe. And we can all sit there and debate whether Sydney is needed. And I know in the past I have said that you don't need Sydney going forward, but that's only if Ghostface is going forward after this trilogy. If you're setting up a brand new group of people and a brand new situation, then you don't need her around. But this doesn't seem like they're doing that. This seems like they are going to end it after this trilogy. So while it would be great for her to come back in some capacity and be a part of this, to get to see Heather Mazzarato play Martha once again, I would be absolutely down for this. But it isn't a for sure thing. She doesn't seem to know a lot of information about the future of the franchise other than to say this is a trilogy and the trilogy will be ending. And I can see the hope that she could come back, and maybe they did in fact tell her you could come back. But if she is back in 6 and not 7, then she's doing a pretty good job of saying that she's not in 6. But you know how that goes as well. So I don't know really what to make of this, so I turn it over to you guys. Have you seen this interview, and what is your views on it? Do you think there is a possibility she will be back? And do you think she'll be back in 7 along with Neve Campbell? And it's going to be an absolute massacre? What do you think? Now let's jump into our next topic, which is Sleepaway Camp. Now this movie is insane. Now, Sleepaway Camp is a 1983 movie, but it is pretty gross. It is very low budget. And it has a lot of, you seriously cannot do this anymore in a movie. Now, I normally, if I'm looking at a movie that is kind of like Sleepaway Camp is, I may not recommend it to people. But here's the thing about the Sleepaway Camp movie. It actually did well enough that it sparked a couple sequels, and then a return to Sleepaway Camp came with the original cast returning. Now, this is important because that's what we're looking at with the Scream franchise. You know, the idea that the original cast could return. And here's the thing about Sleepaway Camp also. It has a killer whose identity we don't know until the end. Now, there are a lot of red herrings in this movie. There's a lot of people that you meet them, you don't like them, and 5 minutes later they get killed. And you're not really invested in a lot of the characters in this movie. Angela in this movie, the main character, is unique. She doesn't speak a whole lot, and when she does, she seems like she's pretty sweet. You know, she's kind of this nice, shy girl whose life has been a complete tragedy. And at the beginning of the movie, you kind of see this tragedy happen. You meet her aunt who raises her, and her aunt is just insane. Her aunt is gonna be the determining factor whether you're watching this movie or not. If you look at this movie and you absolutely, at that point, look at the ant and you go, okay, this is too over the top for me, then the movie might not be for you, but I would say continue watching anyway. A lot of the kills are brutal and they happen off screen. They really do happen off screen, and you see a lot of the aftermath of what happened and not so much the gore of what does. And it's really unique in that it does put you in the eyes of the killer, which had only been done at this point a handful of times. So it wasn't quite the cliche that it has come to be over the years. And that's a cliche, mind you, that I wouldn't mind seeing come back in movies either. That's one that I sort of miss, if I'm telling the truth. I miss being in the eyes of that killer in the movie, because then you don't get to see the person and you don't have to have the mask. That's always been the kind of thing that makes it stand out. In the original Friday the 13th, there wasn't a mask and the killer showed their face. And you would get people that would see the killer and they go, oh, it's you. And this movie has sort of that same vibe. There's a lot of people who see the killer and they know who it is. They know who it is, and that's why they're not afraid. They're not afraid because it's someone they see, you know, walking around. They know the person. And I think that becomes more terrifying sometimes than the idea of the mask. Now, Scream does an amazing job of keeping the mystery, and this movie pretty much does that too. I would say that this is probably one of the movies that helped to influence the way Scream handles the whole unmasking, yet it is so unique that you can't make that judgment at all. Scream comes across more as a mystery, whereas this movie, even though it is a mystery, the ending is a true shock. If you stick around to the ending of this movie, the reveal of the killer is just one half of the surprise, and then you kind of get the full story of why this person is the killer. I give Sleepaway Camp 4 stars just because it's unique. It's probably more of a 2.5 to 3-star movie, but even still. Now, leave us a comment in the comment box and let us know what you think. And don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation too. And then Miko says we need more subscribers, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button also, because YouTube really likes it when you hit that like button, and we do too. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And at the end of the day, friends, fandom is family.